There's a garbage truck outside making a cacophony of shit. Good morning. This is the first video of 2024, and it's actually on a really, it's actually kind of starting on a really funny note. I gave myself some time for the holidays and things like that to take a break and enjoy being around family and friends to bring in the new year. And I'm so glad I did. So like I could have been like really like, I'm going to make a video on the first, but life just, it just doesn't go that way. I'm moving at a really good pace right now. And also for things like this, like I might've said it in my intro video. I did say it in my intro video, has to come from an authentic place. But going back to the garbage truck thing, this is going to be the first video where I'm kind of doing it like in the moment. I'm having one of those mornings. You ever have one of those like mornings, like one of these days where you wake up and you're just like, oh man, like you just feel it, And I'm laughing because, partially because I guess that might be that might be deflecting a little bit. But I think the other part of it is my remedy to bad days, or not to bad days, because it's not even a bad day. The day just started. It's just I don't think like life can go mathematically correct and perfect all the time. So my remedy to those off days, we'll call them off mornings, off nights, off whatever, is kind of just rolling with the punches. This morning I was headed over to the gym to do day 2 of a program I've been doing. The program I've been doing has been faulty, which has been annoying because I'm only on day 2 of it. There was no parking at the gym. People drive like crazy over here in Los Angeles, specifically Glendale. Sorry to throw under the bus Glendale, but it's true. And I was just feeling anxious going over there, and I had to sit with myself and ask myself a decision of if it was really worth fighting myself for time. Like, I woke up late and I got to go to the gym, and then I got to, I don't get to do the workout as long as I want to because I didn't wake up as early as I wanted to. I stopped doing that a long time ago. I would say like definitely well into like last year, like probably around summertime. I kind of just stopped really getting off. I just don't, I go with the flow, and maybe that should have ended up being the title of this video, is go with the flow, but you have to. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be thrown off by what life throws at you. But you don't need to be on some tight schedule of anything. I think discipline is important, and I will be going to work out later. I promise you that. But the point of this is we need to be very kind to ourselves when the frequencies are becoming dissonant, when the universe is kind of throwing us for a loop. We need to be really kind to ourselves, and we need to be kind to everyone else, as frustrating as it is. And the reason why, kind, not nice, and that's a whole other conversation, the difference between nice and kind. But kind is like giving grace in places where maybe it doesn't feel like it should be given. Giving grace to yourself, giving grace to the world, I think is super, super important. So I think actually today's video is super. I'm saying super a lot. Today's video is fantastic to start off the new year with, because we're talking about how do you like commit to these new routines? How do I fulfill my New Year's resolutions? First off, New Year's resolutions to me, I don't like them. I make a list every year of things that I want to do for myself, but I make those changes daily. The new year for me though does signal in a time where I'm saying, okay, societally, globally, universally, synchronistically, I think that's the right word. We're coming into a new 365, right? New year. And in that gap, how can I be productive? It's the same thing with my day. So actually going back to the top of this video, a good year, good day, bad year, bad day, bad months, things, there's just stuff that happens. And some of it is tragic and horrible. And, it just completely stops and stalls you, and you have to stop. That's how it goes. And then there's other things that are just inconveniences. And I think inconveniences don't usually bother me unless I'm not doing what's right for myself. So going back to one of those days, those off days, those Mondays, that comes about because we're not aligning with ourselves, right? Like that usually ends up kind of being the core of everything. Every single time that we feel like the world is against us is because we're not with ourselves. If I was truly connecting to myself, so like for example, today, I got to get up early and I got to hit the gym. I got to do this thing. Otherwise I'm going to fail. I'm not going to be fit. I'm not going to be the best version of myself. It's not true. Yes, discipline is important. But what's more important is to make sure that when I'm doing something, I'm not doing it out of spite or bitterness. I have to, especially when it comes to my health, I have to align with what is best for me. And so do you. It's really, really important. So think about that. Like if you're really having an off day, is it you or is it the world? Sometimes it's a combination of both. But truthfully, it's because you're not really aligning with where you are. If I woke up today and had nothing to do, then I wouldn't feel the way I do. But the problem is I have responsibilities. So I start to create these arguments within myself. And that's what creates those days, the weird offness, So patience with yourself and forgiveness with yourself and others and grace, which is, forgiveness in this sort of embodiment, I believe. Look up the definition for grace. It's actually really beautiful. But the point is, offering that grace to yourself in those moments. Like I'm literally in my gym clothes. Like I have everything on, and I went to the gym and I came back. It just wasn't the day. It just wasn't the morning. And I will tackle it again later. But when I'm at peace, when I'm in the right pace, it's so important, right? It's so important. So again, the big takeaway from this video, don't rush, and remember that when you're having one of those days, to really analyze what's happening in your spirit, in your heart, and in your mind. Usually it's because you're battling time. Usually it's because you're trying to juggle what's important to you. That's okay. So as that begins to happen, begin to slow down. Like I did. I turned around from the gym. That's really embarrassing to me, kind of like in my ego, I guess. But I also had to be like, no, it's not the day. Intuitively, it was ringing. I'm like, this is not the day to do this, or it's not the moment to do this today. I can save it for later, that is so important. And I think that's what helps us create balance. When we feel that we are moving away from alignment of ourselves, everything becomes noisy and just like hot and claustrophobic. The way that we avoid that is by breathing, pushing things away that we don't need to. It's actually incredible in a day. Like if you said, like, even if you're at work and you're dealing with someone who's complicated and you're having one of those days and you can just be cold, or you can say, you know what? Hey, like I gotta defer this because I gotta get this done. Or I have to, and maybe you're not in that environment, but speaking up and putting yourself back to you, saying what you can and can't do, has nothing to do with your weakness and it has everything to do with your strength. Saying what you can and can't do is so important, and communicating is so important. And I'm learning that right now. So this is literally me coming at you live, telling you about the day that I had and how tough it was. Or not the day that I had, the morning I had, excuse me, and how already interesting and complicated it was. Like I didn't wake up on time the way I wanted to. I slept through an alarm and, but but I can't, but I did this. I stopped everything I was doing to do this because this is important to me. And if I do this, then when I go back out later to go do the thing that is challenging and, a little bit more disciplined and not as fun, I'm going to have more vigor, more courage, more drive, because I'm put myself exactly in the place that I wanted to with the time that I had. I cast aside everything else, making breakfast, doing these things. It's like, I'm going to align with what's important. So that way, when I go about today, as other weird things happen, whether they do or don't, doesn't matter. I'm going to laugh at it genuinely, not out of spite. I'm going to be like, wow, okay, like, great. Like, that's just the way the universe is moving today. It's shaking shit off the walls or whatever. And I'm knocking on wood. But the point is, and as the trash can goes off outside, the point is, align with yourself. Align with what is important to you. And when you feel the universe is shaking and rumbling and society's crumbling, breathe, fucking breathe. I just did. I turned around and I came back to what was important to me. So if you're having one of those days, one of those mornings, if you're watching this and you're in the car or at home and it's already a weird start to the day, people are emailing you, texting, you're getting weird calls from people, blah, blah, blah. Totally okay. Just roll with it. And remember that you always have the power to decide what is important to you. You have this life right now to just move with the day. Literally roll with the punches, absorb the blows, so that way the blows are less severe. It takes time, but you can do it. And I'm doing it right now. So give yourself grace, give the world grace, absorb the beautiful cacophony of shit that is the world. And really, look at it for what it is and shake it off. There's a difference between suffering and having a moment. Having a moment, there's tens of thousands in a day, I'm sure, that we're all allowed to have. So that's okay. Have it. So literally, I'm coming at you live. I had this whole morning of like, wow, I got to turn around. So active advice. Again, I'm going through it with you. I'm going through it. But I know it's going to be a good day because I'm so grateful to have this space. I hope you all had a safe holiday. Again, I wish you all healing and love and peace. Happy New Year. Like I said, fuck New Year's resolutions, but I'm very excited for the new year. January is my birthday month. I love it. And not even just for my birthday, because I don't really do big birthday things anymore, but more so I love the reset. I love getting older. I love the years added because I love doing things like this where I can have conversations with myself and others about where the next step is and how to deal with adversity. So as the trash cans are rumbling outside still, which is so funny because I don't even know if you guys can hear it, but it's really funny to be making this while like literally there's like glass shattering outside. It's really funny. So if you're having that day, it's okay. Go take a deep breath and reset yourself and do what is important to you. Always do what is important to you. And if you're feeling out of alignment, it's because you're not aligning with you. So go knock out the other shit. Go take care of yourself. Love y'all.